I joined Studio Brunel because, as a theatre student, I felt that a lot of the modules that I personally picked weren't really practically based, and so joining Studio Brunel gave me the chance to really get more involved in that aspect and to work closely with my own friends and also new people as well, and to put on productions that really felt like actual shows, properly staged and with proper lighting, and as opposed to just doing it like for an assessment, which is what I would have been doing if it was in a module. What I'll remember most about Studio Brunel is probably the people. It's a very community feel, and you see a lot of similar faces throughout your time, whether it's the directors, the producers, or the front of house, or the cast. You see a lot of the same people coming up who you make friends with, and there's a lot of new faces as well. So yeah, probably the people. My favourite Studio Brunel production, there's two. There's probably the first one I was in, which is Medea, which is just very exciting to be part of this large scale production with all this elaborate staging and lighting and all of that. And the second one was probably Ernest, just because it was just really good fun. It was just a very small cast. It was it's a very funny play, and we just had a lot of laughs making it.
Hi, my name is Brad and I'm one of the producers at Studio Brunel. I first heard of Studio Brunel during a performance of The Importance of Being Earnest in my Freshers Week. I really liked the idea of being involved in something that was student-led and very active within the university. So not long after, I heard that they were signing up different roles for the committee. So I signed up for an interview after speaking to members of the previous committee and got my role in January. In my first year on the committee, I worked on Consent, which is a critically acclaimed drama exploring the British justice system's attitudes towards rape. Whilst this was a difficult topic to tackle, it raised awareness and stirred conversation, so I was really proud to be involved, and I look forward to other ways that we as a company can bring various challenging topics to light. During my role, I have learned and developed a wide range of skills as a producer, particularly fast-paced problem solving and quick thinking. I've also learned a lot more about the logistics of actually putting on a play in a professional setting, as well as marketing tips and really learning from the creative directors whilst watching them work with the actors. A great memory I have was just before I started my role on the new committee at a celebration evening which happens every year to welcome the new members and celebrate previous achievements. This was a great evening as I really got to see how many people worked tirelessly to put on various Studio Brunel events, and it was a great way of feeling welcomed into the new team that we had.
Well, the reason why I wanted to be a part of Studio Brunel is because I heard about the theatre production, the theatre company within Brunel University before I even joined Brunel University. And when I went to visit them during a opening day which they had, I went to visit the crew and the founders of Studio Brunel, and they welcomed me with open arms. Honestly, they were one of the most friendliest people you ever meet. What I've learned within my time in Studio Brunel are a sense of community, networking, trust, and improvisation as well. Because when I was in Studio Brunel, I had a lot of trouble with my diction, especially when it came to Shakespeare. And they were very supportive of me. Every single person there was very supportive. And they helped me progress and grow, and I was able to give a unique performance in the productions Midsummer Night's Dream. It's really the sense of community and friendship. It's like a small family there as well, that everyone seems to be so tight, everyone seems to be so cool. And yeah, just really unique. And just being able to work with so many talented people there at Studio Brunel, and then hang out with them afterwards, that was really great memories, which I will hold within myself for many years. Especially with the house parties, after parties, rehearsals as well, and meeting a lot of unique people as well who I still talk to this day. My favourite show, which Studio Brunel has produced, is Consent. I believed it was very bold and unique because I didn't know the core concept of it before I watched it. And then I researched it afterwards, and I was really, really impressed with how they executed the show, especially with a new team compared to the old team who were there. That that it was a great debut for the new team, and I see really good things for the future with everyone involved within behind the scenes of Studio Brunel.
I mainly wanted to be a part of it because of the audition process. Most societies don't have any sort of audition, and they don't tend to do a lot of shows. It's just a weekly meetup, whereas this is a continuous reel of shows, so you get to go through like deciding what show you want to do, auditioning for it, and if you get cast, going through all the rehearsals and not having like the weekly commitment and not knowing what you're going to do. Like, you're in a show, and then if you're not in a show, you're still part of the community, just it's not as much pressure, I think. That's kind of what I wanted to be involved, because it's a really nice environment to put yourself in when you feel like it, and then if you don't want to do a show, if it's not the right time for you, then you don't have to, because they're not doing them all the time. So it's really a useful thing to have, and like I said, they're actual shows, they're not weekly meetups of like small performances. It's nice to have, or being launched straight into this scenario. I love it. And it's also a very large community. There is obviously all the actors who want to get involved, but also the amazing creative team, the directors, people who do the lighting and the set and do promotion and work front of house on the nights of the show. So many people involved, and that means there are a lot of things that you can do. It's not just being part of a society or just being an actor. Like, if you want to learn more about directing, then you can be on a committee and become a creative director, and I find that really interesting that they give you all of those different opportunities. I watched Ernest in Freshers Week and I absolutely loved it, and I knew that I wanted to get involved because it was so well advertised. They presented it beautifully on their Instagram, and it looked like so much fun. The actors had an amazing time, so I really, really, really wanted to get involved with that. Especially from Midsummer, I've learnt how to learn my lines accurately and extremely quickly, because shows are 4 weeks long, typically. That isn't a lot of time to learn all the Shakespeare that's in Midsummer Night's Dream, especially being Helena. Luckily, some of my monologues were cut down, but it's a blessing that I even had that many lines in the first place, to be honest, so I shouldn't complain. But learning Shakespeare takes a while, and I've come to terms with different methods of learning my lines that are effective, because it's tough, but it's so worth it, because I now feel more confident in like learning Shakespeare and learning my lines in a short period of time, and also just being off book in general. I think as actors know it's way more useful to be off book, so I really, really, really am grateful for being able to learn my lines, because I was terrible at that before. I've also learned so much about the back of house, about how to direct. Like I said before, all the creative team, like the lighting and the set and the promotion that goes into it, people who film it. I've learnt so much about what goes into a student-led production, and that's really inspired me to get involved with not just the acting this year, but with the tech side of things, with the directing side. I'm really interested in that, and I'm really grateful that I have been able to see what goes on behind the scenes before, because obviously in other shows you tend to not really communicate too much with the other creators. It's a really nice experience. And yeah, it's a lot of experimentation and finding what's good for you in Studio Brunel. The way that we work is just exercises, is experimenting with what's going on and seeing what works best with other people, and that is a really nice way to work. And I'm glad that I have learned how to let go and find different ways of working, because before I was kind of stuck in my ways, but this has taught me that there are so many different ways to do things if you just experiment and have fun and let go. Well, this might not come as a shock, but the memory that sticks out fondly in my brain is in Midsummer I had to lick a third year's hand. I had to lick the lovely person who's playing Demetrius. I had to lick his hand, and it was a bit strange being a first year, not even 3 weeks into uni, and I had to lick his hand for the performance. And I know it was a bit fun and games, it was very strange. I'm sure he found it very strange, I found it extremely strange, but I had to do it every rehearsal, and it kind of just became normal. But that memory sticks out in my brain because it, I suppose, got got me out of my comfort zone, because it was quite nerve-wracking being a first year and hadn't even been there a month, and I've been thrown into this production with so many other people that I don't know. There are only a couple first years in there, but I'm grateful, I suppose, for that experience. Especially the auditions though for Midsummer. I did those actually, I think, in my first proper week of uni, and I just threw myself in because I just thought if I just do it, then I've done it. And I can say that I tried, but it's nerve-wracking because I don't know the building very well. I don't know any of the people in the years above. It was terrifying, but it was so worth it because they were lovely and it was really fun, and it's a short audition, really good communication, so it definitely helped me out there. I really enjoyed Miss Night because it's such an intimate show, and I've never read the play, never heard of it. It was a really nice, interesting, spooky environment. The playtext also is gorgeous, and I really enjoyed not just having the traditional big stage, big audience. It was nice to sit in a little horseshoe in a different room, not the normal performance space. It was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was done beautifully well, and I kind of am interested to read the play now.
I decided to join Studio Brunel initially because I wanted to practice technical theatre. I was interested, I already knew some things about it, and what I really was after is learning from practical, hands-on experience. So yeah, ever since I was involved, I never stopped learning new skills and applying stuff that I already know, which was my vision from the beginning. My journey with Studio Brunel started in 2018, in my first year in Brunel. I got involved as the technical production assistant for the show Medea. It was a very hands-on role from the beginning, so I got a lot of great experience in lots of areas of technical theatre already. And from that moment on, I just kind of became more and more involved in as many future shows as I could. And so next year came, I became the technical manager of the studio, and that enabled me to kind of become less of a hands-on person, less of a practical, for example, designer or technician, and have a look for other people who might be interested in doing stuff like that. And we managed to assemble a small team of people who either already know about technical theatre or who would like to learn about technical theatre. And I noticed my role has been becoming much less hands-on. So for some of the shows for the past year, I was kind of being there for other students who were doing lighting design and sound technical things, and it was great. It was great to see that the technical team kind of expanded. So yeah, that pretty much brings me here. I can't really pinpoint one experience as being the most memorable, but I can say that the first night of each show that I've been a part of kind of had a bigger impact on my memory. I think it doesn't have a lot of emotional value or something like that, but the technical equipment, the lights, the sound, no matter how prepared you think you are, no matter how prepared you can be, all of that can have a life of its own. So you can never really prepare yourself for what's gonna happen. You gotta be on your toes to kind of be sure to respond to any outcome throughout the show. So you end up being more impressionate on that night. So yeah, that would be it for me. I've learned many things from my experience with Studio Brunel. I guess the key takeaways would be that it's always a team effort. First of all, theatre in its nature is a collaborative task, so you can really achieve a lot of things just by yourself, and you get to work with people as a result. You get to work with wonderful people. You get to work with less wonderful people, but you can't really escape that in any area of expertise. What's important is that Studio Brunel taught me how to deal with all sorts of different people, how to communicate myself to different types of my collaborators to make sure that we get the job done, whether it's a good person to deal with or less good. So that was very important. And above all, I learned that you just have to have fun. You can't really make a product that you enjoy sitting afterwards if you don't enjoy the process of it. So there wasn't a rehearsal that went by that I attended where I haven't seen directors, producers, actors make efforts to make the process more enjoyable for everyone in the room, and I think that has a big impact on the final product.